And we're back with another episode of What's Hockey. Keaton, we're ringing in the new year, 2025. The podcast has made its return, but we're going to keep it classic. We always start with Around That Hockey. Keaton, what's been going on the last week?
Quite a few things. Igor Shesterkin got hurt, got placed on IR for an upper body injury. Newly re-signed goalie, so it's looking pretty rough for the Rangers. Hopefully, I believe it's Brandon Quick, can help them. Uh, yeah, doesn't look likely, but hey,
I mean, dude, he
when
would
you
be a
get the
miracle.
opportunity, who knows if they could shine. But
Technically, if he allows in no goals for the rest of the season, they can do something. But, I mean, that offense, the defense, every part of that Rangers organization is just a failure this year. So, I mean, it's
it's
just.
just a weird thing because they were just such a good team last year, and I don't even know how many people they've lost outside of like Truba, and I know they traded Capo Kakinen, or no, who was it?
It was,
Uh,
oh,
I forgot. It's like
did,
Kako Capo or something like that. I don't remember. I'm terrible at names
I'll
too.
be honest,
So
man. Some of those, like, Finnish and Nordic names, I just struggle with it sometimes. But, yeah, no,
there were at least two A's in the name, in the first name at least. But anyway.
anyway.
Yeah. So outside of that, Austin Matthews is back in lineups. He
He
can
is.
assist with Mitch Marner's ability to score points. Ended up getting a goal and two assists in his first game back against the Bruins, and yeah, pretty good. But
Dude, they've
yeah,
they've won 5 of their last 6 games. I mean, they're looking pretty hot right now. It's a long
they're
season
pretty
again, but
hot.
we're about halfway, so we'll see if Toronto can keep that going forward.
I mean, they're on a 4-game win streak, so
Their last
yeah.
loss too was against the Capitals, so it's not like it was against a nobody. And
Yeah,
then the game before that, they went ahead and beat the Red Wings. So, but they
yeah.
are a nobody, so that doesn't mean anything. All right, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it's classic. Frank Vatrano re-signs with the Ducks with a 3-year contract, about $18 million for
Oh,
the
and
whole
real
thing.
quick note on that, and I should have done
Nice.
a little bit more research, but I was listening to a podcast and they were talking
Oh
about that
shit.
deal, and they were talking about how there's a lot of the money's deferred to later on, so it doesn't affect
Yeah.
the Ducks as much right now. That also benefits Vetrano, being that there's some high taxes over there in Cali, and so you can kind of avoid that, take that
Oh yeah.
money elsewhere. So it's kind of a win-win for both the organization and the player.
Yeah, and I mean the Ducks are no longer fighting for the worst season this year, so
Ah,
they've been climbing the ranks. I think they're like, I don't know, 27th instead of 31st. So
in points.
yeah, total standings. Let me just
No,
get back to it real quick. Yeah, they're
they're
25th. So
in their own division. There are two teams with less points than them who have played more games, being the Kraken and the Sharks. Honestly, I'm
yeah,
surprised to see the Kraken down there. But
the
37
Kraken are
points in
looking horrible.
41 games. I mean, that is heinous, heinous over there.
Yeah, I mean their last 10 is 2-7-1. So don't know what's going on with
Trash.
the Kraken. Um,
What's
but
Kraken?
yeah, I mean, wow, that's terrible. But anyway, yeah, I mean the Ducks with Truba, I don't really know. I mean, I know Troy Terry's pretty solid, but I don't really know what their issue is. I don't watch their games, so
Mm-hmm. I got you.
doesn't look like they're that bad anymore, at the very least. But yeah, doing pretty hot. The World Junior Championships were played this weekend.
Yes, they were.
The semifinals were on Saturday, and the finals were on Sunday, and the U.S. won.
They
We're
did in
pretty good. We
OT.
beat Finland in OT. Was 4-3. Pretty good. We ended
USA,
up
baby.
beating Czechia. What was it? 4-1. Yeah,
Is
pretty
it
good.
Czechia? Is it Czechia?
It could be
I think it's Czechia.
Czechia,
I don't think it's Czechia.
Czechia.
I think it's
It
Czechia.
could be
I'm not from
spelled
there. I
like
don't
it.
know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But
Who could
yeah,
tell you?
Finland beat Sweden. I think that was 4-3 as well, OT. So it was a pretty solid matchup overall. But yeah, don't know where Canada was, but
Trash.
seems like they don't really have a grasp on their own sport anymore. So, oh well. But yeah, we're about halfway through the season. With most teams right around that 41st game. Pretty crazy stuff. Initial surprises with the Capitals being as hot as they are. I mean, they're second in the league rankings. Um, they have the same amount of points as the Jets, but one less game played. So yeah,
Dude, the
pretty crazy.
Capitals.
And
Go
the
ahead, sorry.
Vegas Knights, I mean, not really surprising, but astonishingly so far ahead. I mean, they've only played 39 games to the Jets is 41, and they've got 57 points to 56 on the Jets. So, I mean, they've been shooting up, doing a lot of win streaks, that's for sure.
It,
But
it it's
yeah,
kind of like a quiet first place division leader. I don't know. I felt like
yeah,
throughout this season we've definitely emphasized more focus on the Caps and like the Wild even, which makes sense obviously because they're surprises. But then you also have like the Jets who are off to that incredible start.
yeah.
And I feel like we just never once honed in on the fact that Vegas is doing some impressive stuff this season, and maybe some of that has to do with their division having like the Ducks and the Sharks, and so it's just like, okay, that's a weaker division, so it's just Vancouver and Edmonton there. And we've talked about
What about the
Edmonton
Kings, dog?
and the Kings. And the Kings too is a team. That's a team
Kings
I
have
need
been
to
doing better
actually.
than most teams.
I'm gonna need to actually sit down and watch them because last year they were so fraudulent towards the end of the season. We were talking about how like they don't deserve to be in the playoffs at all. This year they come back and they are second in their division. And we've talked about Edmonton started slow. They need to turn it up. But yeah, no, going back to Vegas, definitely just the steady dominance that they've had this season. That's honestly, if you're the team owner or a fan of that team, that's what you want to see. Not just one hot streak early on. Like kind of Winnipeg, I feel like they started hot and have cooled, and I don't see that with
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the best winning percentage right now at 73%, and the Capitals have 70 even. So they're the only two teams above 700, which is pretty crazy. I mean, most teams are right around 600 to, give or take 680, I guess, is where Winnipeg's at.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just crazy because most of these teams, especially even the Devils, they kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, they've played more games, sure, but they're sixth place or something like that. So, um, yeah, they're sixth in the standings with 53 points. So, I mean, they're kind of been a quiet team as well, going back to that. But yeah, surprising standings halfway
Yeah,
through the season.
the Devils definitely a big surprise or two above Carolina. Now, to be fair, Carolina has a few games to catch up to them and overtake them on points. The Devils have played the most games in the league, right?
I think so.
Real
Yeah.
quick, yeah, 43. Yeah, they've played the most.
And
So
Tampa's played
honestly,
the
man,
least with 37.
I uh I feel like they're gonna get caught. I think Carolina
Oh
catches
yeah.
them,
I
and
mean,
then I mean they're gonna be fighting for a wild card spot. We'll see how Boston's doing at that point, or even the Lightning, because the wild card it's two per conference, right? It's not specific to which division,
it's
right?
three per
Three
conference,
per conference, okay.
and then two of the division.
And two in each division. So, like I said, I think Carolina catches the Devils in the
Or
division race. So then at
sorry,
that
three
point,
per division and then two per conference. That's what I meant.
three per division, two per conference. Okay,
So
so
the
they could
top three
finish
of each
third.
division.
So they could finish third in their division and be all
Yeah.
right. And to be fair, looks like they should. I can't see Pittsburgh coming all the way back up to take that. They'll be fighting for a wild card at best. So, well, I guess take back all that. They might lose this lead and
Nice one,
get
dude.
out, get knocked out of the playoffs. But hey, you know what? Again, we talked about teams that started fast and hot, and we talked about the Jets. The Devils definitely a perfect example of a team that
They
started
could be tripping
super
out.
hot. They could. They absolutely could. We'll see, man.
And it is pretty crazy right now. The Kings, Stars, Maple Leafs, and even the Red Wings are on 4 game winning streaks, which is the most as of right now. Pretty good
You
because
see it.
Todd McClellan is putting some fire up under the team's ass. So doing a lot better than we were. And the Lightning are on a 4 game loss streak, which is on the other end.
Mm.
So they've
Mm-mm-mm.
played the least games too, and on that 4 game loss streak, they need to turn it around. Otherwise, they're not looking so great.
They look,
Um,
so they're fourth in their division right now, 3 points behind Boston, but they do have five more games to play than Boston. So they can easily catch up and sneak into the
yeah, I mean,
playoffs
I
and
don't
be
think
very
it's like danger mode
dangerous.
at this point, but
Mm,
either way,
I got you.
it's a pretty bad look. But yeah, if anybody cares, Ovechkin is 23 goals from beating the record, so he's just completely on a steady pace. Still at 39
God,
years old, which is just astounding
ridiculous.
each week, to be honest. I mean, every time he scores a goal, I'm just like, all right, well, I think he's gonna make it. So
It's
I think
insane,
he's at
man.
19 goals, and I don't know what, like 30 games or less. So because he got hurt for however long.
He missed what, three
So
weeks?
yeah, I think he missed 16 games, including the one he played in.
Okay.
And just due to the fact that they've played 40 games, definitely less than 30. But yeah, just on a hot streak,
Oh,
at least when
dude,
he's
an
playing.
unreal
Because,
streak, man. Unreal. I'm so
oh,
curious. So
yeah.
like if you bet on him to score every day he did score, I'm curious on your winnings. I know it's a dumb number and the odds have obviously lowered since the beginning of the year, but there's predicting a
Yeah.
guy scores that frequently at that age is just
And not
stupid.
just points, like actual
Like
goals.
goal
Yeah.
goals. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild. It's wackadoo.
It's very Minnesota.
Preposterous. All right. So yeah, the Red Wings took on 3 games this past week, and
Oh.
we won them all because we're on a four
Oh.
game win streak.
Wow, the new coach bump.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So on the Penguins, uh, took up the reins and coached a good game over there. Jonathan Berggren getting in the action. He had a goal and an assist and scored the first goal of the game. Got 2 power play goals from Patrick Kane and JT Compher, and ended with an empty netter from Dylan Larkin and win 4-2. So pretty good, and definitely covered that bet, or at least the spread, whatever. So they're pretty good these days. Then we travel over to Columbus and take on the Blue Jackets, which is a lot more close of a game, but ended up taking the win. It was 5-4, pretty even throughout most of the game. I mean, I think it was the first period we had like 3 goals or something like that. It's just crazy. I don't know, but yeah, taking up another dub, and Jonathan Berggren ends up going into the penalty box. I think we challenged a play, and then we went on the under the shorthand, just due to the fact that the challenge didn't go through because we suck. But yeah, either way, we put Berggren in the box, and as soon as the power play was over, I can't remember who passed it. It was probably Mo Sider, but he threw it over to Jonathan Berggren, and he just had a one-on-one against the goalie and made it. And I think it was like 30 seconds left in the game, so it was definitely securing the win. Blue Jackets couldn't come back from that, so yeah. And at the Jets, definitely a lot better than I thought we would turn out, and ended up taking first scoring with a power play from Dylan Larkin. And in the second period, early, Lucas Raymond gets another power play goal. Um, so it was 2-0 for a little minute, and they end up scoring like I think 2 minutes later. So it was kind of a close game at that point, but through the third period, we end up getting easy shot from DeBrincat and gets a goal on Hellebuck, and yeah, ended up winning, making it 3-2 with 3:15 left to go, and we ended up shooting an empty netter to win 4-2. So definitely a lot better than what we have been playing, and
Yeah.
definitely against the Jets, we basically dominated them. So kind of surprising there. We definitely probably should have lost, but definitely a totally different team with McClellan, and yeah, just fighting for each other, actually playing a team game as opposed to just throwing the puck around. I remember seeing a tweet or something about the commentators saying, I think it was Joe Valeno. He says he dropped it to nobody in particular, and yeah, it was a pretty bad play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looks like we're turning around. Up next, we do play the Senators today, later on, and then Blackhawks on Friday, and Kraken on Saturday, and then we ended
Kraken
up
Sunday.
playing. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Could be. But yeah, and then just in case, I guess the Sharks on Tuesday, but we'll probably talk about that one. But yeah, I think we're going to go another 3-0 because those teams look pretty atrocious. I mean, the Senators probably might give us the best game, but as we've talked about, the Kraken are 2-7-1 in their last 10, and the Blackhawks are just as bad. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but looking like we're going 3-0 again.
All right. Hey, man. That's impressive. We talk about the new coach bump and everything. I got to be honest. I don't know how much was Lon, how much is the roster and everything, but hey, good
I mean,
turnaround.
that's kind of how I felt for the longest time because, I mean, for whatever reason, Derek had his job for 3 seasons.
Dude, the
And
stories you were
I mean,
telling
the
me were
stories I've heard, yeah. I mean,
ridiculous.
like, I've seen all these tweets about, I think it was Dylan Larkin saying, oh, yeah, it's good to have someone with coaching experience, which is, astounding. And then I think it was the day of his first practice, McClellan coached and made the Red Wings practice on ice for the longest they've ever done, which was like barely over an hour. So I don't even understand how that is the longest practice of the season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty atrocious, especially about halfway through a couple weeks ago. I mean, come on, like that's nothing.
That's
But
stuff you should be ashamed of. But no,
yeah,
so yeah, we'll see if the Red Wings can go 3-0 this week for your boy Keaton. The Dallas Stars, we played 3 games this past week. I also think I predicted the Rangers game, which is tonight, just on the chance that we didn't record today. But so I said we would beat the Blackhawks, the
I don't even
Sabres,
know.
and oh no, yeah, that's did we record in between then? We did. Sabres is the last.
You're
Okay.
an idiot.
Sabres came to Dallas, and then, dude, that game. So we went 4-2. Uh, I'm kind of salty. So you're going to see a trend that took place over these 3 games where essentially when Dallas scored, our opposition decided, you know what, let's go 99 overall. Everyone's going hard, balls to the wall, and we're scoring instantly. And they did
99
multiple times.
overall.
Yeah, so against the Buffalo
Goodness, man.
Sabres, we score in the second period. Within a minute, Zucker ties. It was Rope who scored it, by the way. It's the third period, we go ahead and have Robertson score a goal, 2-1. But Lafferty comes screaming down the side and scores a goal himself.
Screaming.
Screaming, making it 2-2. It is a Duchesne goal. Oh, was it Duchesne?
What a douche
No, it was
shame.
Wyatt. I'm sorry, it was Wyatt who scores a tip-in goal and then an empty netter, and we win that one 4-2.
Don't
Senators
goalies
at
just hate tips?
Stars. I predicted the Stars would win that game, and we do 4-2. There was an instance there where Rope gets a tip in, like I forgot at what point in the game, but Kachuk,
Tipping's just
1 minute later, 2 minutes later, Kachuk ties it up. So that was real nice. I'm enjoying them scoring
Where did
extremely
John
quick.
Gruden nicey?
Yep. But we go ahead and take care
Got
of
Rudy
business
feeling
there.
nicey.
Utah, same thing. We score 1 point, or we score like 10 seconds in,
I
and
mean, y'all went to
Utah
overtime in that
replies.
game.
We
So.
did. We scored like 15 seconds in. Utah 30 seconds later, goes ahead and scores, ties it back up. But we go
Just
and take
16 seconds, by the way.
it's a Thomas Harley goal to win the game. Thomas Harley in OT. I swear that guy is extremely clutch. He only hits OT winners. It's ridiculous. But Duchesne leaves it on a silver platter for him. He risks it up into that top corner with no space, no margin. Just a gorgeous shot and wins the game for us, making it 3-0 on that little homestand that we had.
Nice dog.
But we will be traveling now. We're going to the East Coast. We're going to start in New York, taking on the Igor Shesterkin-less Rangers. That'll happen tonight, actually. I'll say we win that game on the road. We travel to Philadelphia on Thursday. I'll say we take care of business there. We'll be traveling to Montreal, take on the Canadiens on Saturday. This is a weird one. I'm going to actually give this one to the Canadiens just because road trips can be tough. And then we have a back-to-back the very next night against Ottawa, which I think we're going to go ahead and it seems to me that the Stars can take days off against worse teams. So I think they take the day off against the Canadiens. We lose that one. Then we go ahead and win on Sunday against Ottawa for a total trip of 3-1 on the road. We do continue on the road, but that'll be next Tuesday in Toronto, so we can discuss that later. But yeah, 3-1 for this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Keaton.
I mean, I feel like you definitely have the worst chance against the Canadiens, but the Flyers do kind of look a little deadly here and there. I don't, random games they'll score like 7. It's like, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
They're totally hit or miss, and I'm predicting a miss on that week, on that day.
Good one, dog.
Last week, Keaton, on our pick'ems, you went 8-5. I went 7-6. Your total overall what's the word I'm looking for? Record is 32-27. Mine is 28-31. So I definitely need to step it up, and I have the opportunity to do that right now. We have
you could, unless you pick all the same games as me, like last time.
I don't think that'll happen. We have 10 games to pick from, Keaton. Plenty to go off of. We're going to start with Edmonton traveling to Boston to take on the Bruins. The spread in that one is Bruins plus 1.5. Keaton, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Edmonton in this one. I definitely feel like the Bruins can kind of keep up, but I feel like Edmonton's just going to get an empty netter to end this one and secure the 2+ goals they need.
All right. Well, I don't believe that will occur. I'm taking Boston. I'll say Brad Marchand's going to take care of business today. Boston plus 1.5 at home. Moving on. We got your team hosting the Ottawa Senators. Right now it's Red Wings plus 1.5. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Red Wings. So, yeah. I mean, it probably could be a close game, but that plus 1.5 is just too good to be true, especially for what the Red Wings have been doing and are doing.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the hot hand. Yeah, totally. I agree. I'm going with the Red Wings as well. Now we'll go over to my team. The Stars traveling to New York, taking on the Rangers, where the Rangers are given plus 1.5 there. Who are you taking there?
I'm taking the Stars because the Rangers look mighty rough this year, especially with out Shesterkin. It just kind of adds to it.
It will be a clean sweep for both of our teams, as I too will be taking the Stars there. Moving on, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets traveling to Pittsburgh, taking on the Penguins. The spread in that one is Columbus plus 1.5. Who are you taking there?
I'm going to take the Blue Jackets. The Penguins have been a mighty question mark, and I don't know. They just haven't really been up to par. And the Blue Jackets gave the Red Wings a pretty good game this past week. So I think I'm just going to roll with a team that I know can score.
All right. I'm going with the Penguins. I do think they've got the old guard still there leading the boys. They're not going down without a fight. I don't know why I'm throwing all these random cliches out there, but they take care of business. Moving on.
Crosby's ass.
The Hurricanes traveling to Tampa. Oh, that's a unfortunate weather report. Spread in that one
Is it?
is Lightning plus 1.5. Who are you taking there?
I'm going to take the Lightning in this one because they're home and they're probably a little pissed off. They're on a 4 game losing streak. And I don't really think that they're the kind of team that, continues on those long stretches of losing. So, yeah.
Fair enough. I'm gonna have to agree with you, unfortunately. I really wanted to take the
This guy.
Hurricane there, but yeah, Tampa Bay plus 1.5 at home. I think that even if it's a close game, that 1.5, man, I don't know. I like that for home teams. Moving on, the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on Philadelphia. Spreading that one is Philly plus 1.5. Who are you taking there?
I'm going with the Maple Leafs because the Flyers suck ass.
The Flyers do suck ass, and with Austin Matthews back as well, it's pretty easy for me to go ahead and take Lightning minus 1.5, or sorry, Maple Leafs minus 1.5. Moving on, we have the St. Louis Blues taking on the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. Spread in that game is Blues plus 1.5 on the road. Who are you taking there?
I do like the Wild. I know the Blues could probably keep a close game, but I kind of expect the Wild to thin the gap between them and Winnipeg.
So you're going with Minnesota minus 1.5?
Correct.
Because they could thin the gap while still losing. Or wait, winning. Yeah, they need to win. Okay. Wild minus 1.5.
Idiot.
I too will go Wild minus 1.5 there. Spread in.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm a little thrown off here. Okay. Predators Jets. Spread in that game is Jets minus 1.5 at home. Keaton, who are you taking there?
As much as it pains me to make this decision, I am going to roll with the Jets. The Predators are pretty trash, and I don't think that they would be able to just win that game.
All right. Clean sweep in that one. Moving on, Calgary and the Ducks taking place in Anaheim. Spreading that game is Ducks plus 1.5. Keaton, who you taking?
I'm rolling with the Ducks in this one. They may be able to just keep a close game. Flames may be able to take that win, but I don't think that they're going to go without a fight, and they're no longer, again, fighting for that last spot in the league. So Ducks have shown a lot better resolve, I guess, over the last few games. So definitely going with the Ducks in this one.
All right, I'm going with the Flames. Look, the Ducks have impressed me a little bit, but Calgary, they're going to go ahead and take care of business on the road there and win by at least 2. Last
They will
game,
not.
Keaton, we got the Golden Knights taking on the San Jose Sharks. Spread in San Jose, I should say. Spread in that game is San Jose plus 1.5. Who are you taking?
I'm rolling with the Golden Knights. I do know that the Sharks can do things, but unfortunately not for this game.
I too will take the Vegas Golden Knights, and so we'll have an update for you next week as I am closing that gap quickly. Keaton,
No, you're not.
Oh,
You're
I'm on my
widening
way.
it.
I'm on my
You're
way.
widening that gap so bad.
Keaton,
Oh man,
one gap that is getting
you were like
closed,
2 games away from me, and now you're like 5.
One gap that is getting closed is my deficit in prize picks. As last week, I went ahead and covered my bet. My boys Pospisil and Darlene came through for me. So is that 2 weeks in a row?
I guess so.
You see it, bud.
Mine failed miserably.
Yours
so.
failed. That is sad. You went out sad. But we're going to go ahead and drop these gems for this week. Keaton, I am going with Jordan
Literal
Stahl.
jewels.
Yes. I'm going with Jordan Stahl to get over 10 face-off wins. He's been doing it pretty consistently. In his last 5, only 1 game he did not, and
They're probably not even going to have enough face-offs for him to win.
we will see, right? So yeah, I'm going to take him on the over, And I'm also going with Austin Matthews on his over for faceoffs. His line's at 11.5, and he will cover that. Boom.
We'll probably get 11. But yeah, I'm going to roll with a couple fantastic picks with, I believe it's Anthony Sorelli with more than 2 shots on goal, or I guess 1.5. So he gets 2 or more. Definitely going to do that because he's been doing it pretty consistently, and you only need 2 shots. He's a pretty solid player. So, yeah. And then Dylan Larkin with less than 20 minutes. They do play the Senators tonight, and I think that it's going to be an easy win, and he's just not going to need to be on the ice for that long.
All right. Well, I believe that'll conclude this episode. Keaton, is there anything I'm missing?
Nope.
All right.
Stay nicey.
Gross. All right. Peace out.